Hey guys, we're here today at a little bit of a magnification because I want to talk to you about some of the jaspers that occur here in the Rogue River Valley. Well, pretty much any of the Oregon Coast Range rivers that empty into the Pacific. We can pretty much be fair and say that that's probably where you're going to encounter these, at least regionally to Oregon. You may definitely find these where you live too. It's a possibility. I don't discount anything. But today we're going to talk about jasper. So we've got three sort of examples of jasper that we're going to go with, and we're going to say good, better, best-ish. That's very eye of the beholder, I know, but we're going to talk about why. So you see this guy here, he's plain, sort of chalky appearance. It's just dry, you know, just a dry stone, plain chalky appearance. If you saw it wet in the river, you'd probably be excited thinking, oh yeah, this is an awesome piece of jasper. You know, it's got a couple of cracks, but let's just pretend it's solid and workable. So you look at it and you think, oh yeah, this is awesome. But look at that chalky appearance. It's not vibrant. There's nothing special about it. I mean, you know, you get it wet, put it in the water. Oh yeah, it looks like an awesome red. Yeah, there might be some detail to it, but it's a chalky red piece of jasper, which kind of means that even though we say that jaspers run right around a 7 in hardness, this thing's gonna cut like it's made of plywood, rotten plywood. They just don't cut well. You know, it's gonna cut really easily. It's not very well put together. It's a stone, yeah, don't get me wrong, but you know, it's probably got a Mohs hardness somewhere more akin to strong 4 and maybe a 5 on the best day of its life. So yeah, it's a little weaker. But you move on to stones with sort of this, and I'm trying to move my camera at an angle so that you guys can understand this. So you see that there's a sort of a glassy sheen on the fracture line. Now, on camera, as I turn it, I'm seeing a reflection line, so I hope you guys are catching that too. Now, it's got a glassy appearance, like it's fractured glass, right? Yeah, really nice. Nice, glassy, gemmy quality material. Real cool, right? And you think, oh, dude, yeah, this is like, you know, this is A-grade fancy jasper. And you'd be right to call this a fancy jasper because it's got the nice glass sheen. It's got the right kind of colors. It's sort of cool. Now, this one, obviously, it's more than one color. So you've got green, yellow, red. I think that's kind of cool. Somebody's going to find that super awesome and say, hey, I've got a design I've been working on for years. I want that stone. Well, email me, girl. We'll make it work. When you get it wet, you can kind of see a little bit more detail that's got really striking, sort of subtle pluming, even in the jasper as it's formed, right? Little subtle color variations in the stone. You get subtle tonal changes between the reds, with reds and yellows intruding into the stone. It's kind of cool. So this is a good jasper, right? You know, everybody would go, oh yeah, they don't get any better than that, but actually they kind of do. So let's take a look at this guy. Now this is jasper. Make no mistake about it. This is jasper. So I got to come in a little bit better to sort of zoom on that, but you can see really just how much depth these stones have. And it's pretty cool. It's a banded iron formation jasper, a biff. yet it's formed so close to the vent that such a high degree of silica intrusion was possible. Now, if this got any more silica rich, we'd be talking Opal Town here. But there's no real play of color. There's some sheen. And, you know, not like Charlie. That's different. That's a different sheen. This is like sheen of color play, right? And you move it, and you almost hope that you're going to see some color play as you work that back and forth. And it's not. It's okay, though. It's just a really cool, highly, highly silica-enriched jasper. So, does it get any better? Yeah. It's the patterning that this silica intrusion makes that gives jasper sort of its I want to work with you quality. So you can see how there's like a galaxy of color going on in here. There's reds and yellows and oranges and sort of dark shadowy tones coming through the stone, right? Pretty cool. That's typical of the red and yellow jasper that we get here. You know, it's going to be mottled. You know, does it get any better? Yeah, it does. So here we have a piece, and I'm sort of trying to make sure that we stop long enough to focus on those color changes. Now you see we've got a little bit of chalcedony intruding through the stone, and it's stable. It is stable. That is not a crack. So we come around on this side. Now this is an unpolished side of the stone, so it looks sort of rough. But I'm going to hopefully try to explain what's going on in it. You see right in here, just this little spot right here, you can sort of see a bluish white, the faintest bluish white, like milk glass white. We're going to call it milk glass white chalcedony because that happens a lot with this stuff. And let's just call it by something that sounds familiar. So we make our way around the stone and we take a look at it, and we see there's a little bit of quartz intrusion, a couple little spots. But all the way through it, there's this deep chalcedony, and it's staying around. And it's pretty cool stuff. Now, what it brings to the party is a flat, transparent, a flat, almost opaque palette to the scheme. And everything here is sort of tone on tone when you get to these jaspers because they start to get a little translucent the closer you get to their formation source. So the closer you get to where whatever, hydrothermal vent or epithermal vent was supplying the silica-rich water or fluid, the clearer these things are going to get. And I'm going to show you a few examples that you're going to definitely begin to get the idea. So we do get different colors, and this is just basically, again, pretty standard red and yellows, all right? Now we can find different colors, different formation patterns. Now this one, we can aptly describe as a script pattern red jasper with chalcedony and quartz intrusions with pockets of druzy. Yeah, there we go. Isn't that nice? Now it does sort of resemble a script pattern because if I turn it this way, you folks from sort of the Middle East might get where I'm going with this. This sort of resembles Indian or some sort of other Middle Eastern language script, like Hindi, kind of. They all write on a top line. It's very artistic. So it sort of resembles a script pattern. And when you cut these, there are people who swear that they see words written in them, and that may be. Random convergence of nature. Cool stuff. But they're good cutter stones. These cut really well, and they make truly beautiful jewelry. And this one, strangely enough, it really does border on being another stone. It really does. There's so much intrusion of material here that we're almost tempted to qualify this as some sort of an odd plume agate with jasper intrusions. Yeah, could be. Anyway, this one's pretty cool, but, you know, it's one of those many varieties. So we do talk about different colors. Everybody, you know, a bunch of red. Here's the obligatory yellow. All right, so we've got really cool, hyper bright yellow going on, okay? Conchoidal fractures, chalcedony inclusions. There's even some pluming going on in this stone. Yeah. So, nice little fracture lines. These are all filled in with beautiful clear chalcedony. Really nice stuff. So this is a good example of you know, getting something that's formed pretty darn close to the source. Now, that's yellow. Well, you know, surely there can't be another color. Well, actually, yeah, there is. So here we go. So let's talk about a sunburst kind of pattern, and we're going to go all the way through the rainbow with the exception of blue. But I'll show you some blue jasper at some point. We'll go down to a source of it, because there are people who insist that it can't possibly exist, and I really, really, really want to make a video that just smacks the snot out of them for it. But anyway, I digress. Here's a sunburst pattern jasper. So we got red, yellow, orange coming into purples, deep, deep, deep purples, right? You know, I'm trying to get this in some light so I can show you. Let me move my camera down a little bit. That might help. Some reds, some violets, purples, yellows. Like, I'm really digging that yellow. But even on the edge of this, you get this sort of like yellow. I mean, and that yellow is so faint and so tiny that really I do have to zoom on a lot of these before it's apparent. And these are cool. You know, really. It's a big change from going to places in the country where this is the only jasper you're going to find. I mean, like, this biff is so vanilla, I mean, like, I'm tempted to beg for sprinkles. Right? Alright. That's just a plain Jane, old, common, sedimentary jasper biff. Not very exciting. Not at all. But it shows you that the colors can go a little darker. Alright, so we talked about the yellow one. I showed you the yellow. Remember seeing the yellow there? Alright, same yellow. Same yellow as this guy. Same exact material. But now we go yellow, like bright yellow poppies, right? Ranging into a deep, dark brown jasper. Right? Almost wood grain looking. I mean, you know, it looks really woody brown. But very bright yellow intrusions. Alright? Alright, so y'all stay with me before you think that this is the best. It's not. Alright, so we get into some woody stuff here, right? Now this is more of a woody brown jasper. It's still jasper. Right? Now we're going to come around to the place where that starts to become apparent. Right? So here we go. We got a little concentric ring with some nice little sort of orangey, get little poppy bursts of yellow jasper in it, clear chalcedony. This is all the jasper that occurs in the Rogue. So Rogue River, Illinois, probably the Chetco. I think I found a few pieces of this in the Chetco. Some of it on the Pistol. The Pistol's not very accessible, so it's only a couple of spots to go and look. But yeah. All right. Does it get any stranger? Yeah. So here we have an example that's on the other end of that spectrum. You know, when we start getting into dark colors, people go, oh, well, it can't possibly be that. It's got to be something else. Well, here's the same material with the same colors and colorations found within the stone as other examples. And I'm going to show you some green on red just so that you can see that yes, all the material does flow. And it's not a conglomeration. It is a pure flow of stone, just in different color. So this is a backside. It's kind of rough, right? So we're going to turn it over. And I almost want to zoom back out a little bit, just so, because my light's changing on me. So we have some browns and greens. We have our familiar yellow, or yellow poppy-ish and red formations going on. A little bit of pure red going on in there. Jasper. So here we go. Red and green, right? It's your familiar red jasper. Everybody expects to see this. Chestnut jasper, some people call it, because of the brown patch on top with deep reds, greens. Pretty expected. What I like about finding these is when we get into this territory. Let's let that zoom for focus for a second. You can sort of see there's a great deal of depth going on with this stone, right? On this side, we can see that there's a little bit of play, not a color play, but just you can see as you move the stone, it's a visually interesting thing. This is that red and yellow. And I'm going to try and get into good light so that you can really see that plumy character of it. It almost qualifies as a plume agate. Almost. You know, there's going to be some purists who are going to go the left corner is stupid with that, but we can't help them. Bless their little hearts. So here we are in another highly silicated jasper that almost qualifies as a plume agate. When we look at it from this side, we're kind of seeing that there's really, really not much interesting about it. But as we move it over, I mean, seriously, look at the depth of color that's just playing around in that. There's a little eye up there. There's clear chalcedony and milk glass white chalcedony. Those reds and yellows are even a little translucent. It's really good stone. Now you can find that you start getting variations on that, and here's a red and yellow confetti sort of, that's the best way I could describe this. It is a confetti poppy conglomeration of stone. But this portion right here is clear chalcedony, and it's actually made me want to order a saw so that we can cut this one and you know, get some nice face cuts off of it with the clear chalcedony, you know, sort of come along this way. That'd be nice. But it does come in every color of the rainbow, so here we are. Isn't that nice? Now here, we have that familiar yellow with some brown that begins to take on an end grain or a burl grain sort of character. It's pretty cool stuff. And it's just an infinite amount. Now you do find it, obviously. This is where it's so close to a vent of something that the jasper is captured in with carnelian. That's all that is. It's really nice though. Find a lot of this stuff in here. So a lot of pockets of this material around. But this is all highly silicated jasper, and you know, fancy jasper. Let's just call it fancy jasper, because it does come in every color of the rainbow, and the intrusion of chalcedony in some of these is so much that it's almost like picking up an opaque opal. Fun stuff.